With Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 51 having to loom over the horizon, many of the fans within the Dragon Ball community are beginning to speculate as to what the fate of Vegeta is going to be once he ends up arriving on planet Yardrat, but more specifically, if something is going to happen to Vegeta as he is on planet Yardrat itself, that's going to further affect the character's longevity within Dragon Ball Super itself following the epic finale against Moro and his army, as many people now are beginning to wonder if Vegeta is going to come back with some sort of a similar syndrome to what Goku had as he fought Android 19 in Dragon Ball Z, to when he nearly died after contracting the heart virus after being warned by future Trunks in Dragon Ball Z. Now, for those that don't know, we are going to be getting massive manga spoilers within the next few days, as well as the full English translation by Viz Media on the 19th, so be sure to hit that subscribe button on this channel and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single video, because you guys are going to be the first to find out what happens to Vegeta in the manga, as well as learning about the inevitable fate of what's going to happen to Vegeta's character following his arrival on planet Yardrat. So, the community had recently been massively misinformed based off of a fan manga that not only went as far as to detail planet Yardrat's environment, but also taking these statements and pages as irrefutable factual evidence for the actual canon material to Dragon Ball Super, which in fact I'm here to debunk and letting you guys know that what you guys are about to see on screen is totally fan-made and does not currently exist within the main continuity of the Dragon Ball Super manga. Now, in this fan manga, we had Mecha Frieza having to talk to Super Saiyan Goku on Earth, as Mecha Frieza went on to tell Goku, and I quote, "I had the Ginyu Force sent to that planet with the intention of conquering it, but they gave up. I wouldn't have been able to send my armies there given their weak resistance to the planet's atmosphere. So I left the Yardrats free, knowing that they could be useful to me one day, like you Saiyans, whom I've exploited for years. So you've learned to teleport. Interesting. You said you were there for an entire year, and yet you're still alive? You're a lot tougher than I thought." As of course Mecha Frieza continues, "It's simple. The atmosphere of the Yardrats is livable, but it's quite toxic to organisms that don't originate from that planet. In other words, you're slowly dying from being on that planet. You escaped Namek's explosion, but yet you'll still die." As Super Saiyan Goku goes on to reply, "I don't understand. What do you mean? You're either lying or I'm stronger than that atmosphere that you're talking about. Anyway, you've ignored my warning, so now I'm going to finish you," which basically implies that planet Yardrat's atmosphere is very toxic, and Goku, after he arrived on Earth, due to his lack of immunity to the atmosphere on planet Yardrat. And I'm here to tell you that everything that you guys just saw on screen involving Mecha Frieza and Super Saiyan Goku never happened in the Dragon Ball Z manga. In fact, this was solely created for a fan manga concept and has nothing to do with the original canon material to what's happening right now involving Goku, the Daikaio, Moro, and Vegeta. However, this does present a very interesting concept to consider, as of course yesterday we spoke about the inevitable battle between Vegeta and Moro in the Dragon Ball Super manga, which is bound to happen, I think, once Vegeta does come back from planet Yardrat. But if by some chance our heroes, the Daikaio, Goku, and Vegeta somehow manage to apprehend in sending Moro back to the galactic prison or killing him during the course of battle, what is going to be the fate of Vegeta after the initial fight against Moro takes place? Could there in fact be any sort of scenario presented to where somehow Vegeta is taken out for an arc, leaving Goku open for a story by himself or with somebody else, being that something would essentially happen to Vegeta that further causes him to be sidelined from a future arc due to the events of Vegeta having to travel to planet Yardrat to learn of an ability or technique that further helped him in his battle against Moro? Honestly, I don't see Vegeta having to be taken out of the Super story just yet. As a matter of fact, Vegeta's narrative, his purpose, is just as important as Goku's, because both of them since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, ever since the Dragon Ball Renaissance in Dragon Ball having to come back, we've seen the exponential growth of not just Goku but Vegeta right there next to him. Through Battle of Gods, the Universe 6 vs 7 arc, Resurrection of Frieza, Goku Black, the Tournament of Power, Dragon Ball Super Broly, and even now during the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, we've seen Goku and Vegeta come up through the ranks together. So I don't think that Vegeta would have any means of catching a heart virus on planet Yardrat, because for something to happen to Vegeta now, especially with the narrative given that he's going to come up with something in having somewhat of a plan to further gauge himself against Moro properly in comparison to Goku and the Daikaio, I really don't see any kind of scenario play out to where Vegeta gets sidelined even momentarily, because as important as Goku is in the show, I do believe that Vegeta is just as important to the story as much as Goku is, because they're both learning, they're both growing, and they're both doing their own thing at the exact same time in figuring out ways how to become the strongest. So following the events of the TOP, Broly, and now Moro, I really don't see any kind of scenario play out to where somehow Vegeta's health deteriorates just because he is on planet Yardrat. Is it a possibility? Absolutely. But even then, one must beg the question, would they have any kind of antidote or any kind of solution for Vegeta to get better? And the answer to that is simply yes, because it's been many years since the events of Dragon Ball Z and Goku having to catch the heart virus, right? So as an example, if somehow Vegeta were to contract a similar heart virus, it's been many years since the humans originally had a cure for that specific virus in that time. So by now, surely enough, they would have any kind of cure for a specific heart virus if Vegeta were to contract one. But also, if there is no other cure, we have the likes of Whis, and we've seen all of the amazing things that Whis was able to do in Dragon Ball Super, such as allow Bulma to give birth prematurely and having her daughter be born relatively sooner than how she was supposed to, but also resurrecting Frieza after the Tournament of Power by simply having to swipe his staff. So Whis is definitely a powerful influence in the Dragon Ball Super story. So if something were to happen to Vegeta, then I'm fairly certain that someone would plead with Whis, in this case probably Bulma, in having to plead for her husband to finally get better. Because if you really stop and think about it, you can't just have Vegeta simply die off due to a heart virus or some sort of a contracted disease that he may have gotten on Yardrat without having Whis or Bulma's influence further help Vegeta get better in this cause. So we either might have one of two scenarios play out. As a matter of fact, three. Scenario number one, Vegeta by some coincidence catches some sort of a disease or a virus that slowly tears apart his body and he ends up dying at some point in the show. Scenario number two, he in fact does end up contracting a virus or a disease, but he ends up living through the entire ordeal, simply having to sidetrack his presence from a specific arc and giving Goku the shine. Or scenario number three, absolutely nothing happens to Vegeta, he goes to Yardrat, comes back, and he's perfectly fine, no heart virus, no disease, and he carries on in the Dragon Ball Super series just as he did before. So just to clarify, if you start seeing any quote manga panel that showcases Frieza or Goku talking about Yardrat's atmosphere that isn't directly connected to the current Dragon Ball Super manga, then chances are it's either fake or it's fan-made. Either or, what you guys just saw with Mecha Frieza and Super Saiyan Goku was simply designed by fans, which we don't know anything about Yardrat's atmosphere or the planet itself as of right now, to in which they could ultimately go as far as to retcon a lot of the original lore that we remember the Yardrats to have. But in the end, I would like to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think that somehow it's possible that Vegeta might get sick, or he might contract something while he's on planet Yardrat, or is he simply going to go there, learn a new ability or technique that's going to aid him in his fight against Moro, and essentially come back with no disease or anything wrong with him? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Again, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to this channel, be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button, and more importantly guys, click the bell icon to always be notified of my content, because you would want to be kept in the loop and be the first to be notified of all my content. So again, if you are subscribed or are just about to subscribe to the channel, then be sure to turn on all notifications, as well as giving this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below. Tune back in for more later on this week. In about 5 to 7 more days, we are going to have new snippets for the upcoming manga chapter, so again, be on the lookout for that. Thank you all once more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, everybody. Peace!
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes, but Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Freezer.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!